Imagine having a seven-figure Etsy business and you're only spending 14% on your advertisement. Well, that's exactly what Hannah Gardner did with her Etsy business. In this conversation, she reveals to us exactly the metrics that she looks at and the decisions that she's making to keep ad spend low and profits and potentials high. She made over $2.5 million on Etsy and Shopify, and she reached her first daily volume of $1,000 within 90 days. If there's anyone to talk about numbers and what to look at to have profitable Etsy ads, I guarantee you Hannah Gardner would be number one. So make sure to watch this video to the end, because at the end of the video, she actually opens her dashboard and shows you what you need to look at. Oh, and by the way, she said that looking at ROAS is not a good idea. Make sure to watch to the end to find out why she said that. All right, let's get started with the interview.
We spent $43,000 at a 14% ad cost percentage. If we did not spend this $43,000, right, we would have done about half this amount. Etsy ads are the lowest hanging fruit to increasing your profit, increasing your sales, getting more customers.
Hey guys, welcome. Today I have a special guest, Hannah Gardner. Welcome.
Thank you, Vlad. Thanks for having me. The famous tag pup.
Yeah, well, as famous or not, but I'm actually really excited to have you because you actually know how to handle inventory. Like, you actually handle inventory. And I think a lot of people don't realize how sensitive of a dance when it comes to profit and running ads and scaling that can be, because you have to be more profitable if you want a 2x or 3x, because you have to have money to make money, which means you need to earn it. So talking about Etsy and profit, this is what we're going to talk about today. And I want to pick your brains at it because I think you have a very unique perspective that I think people are going to really benefit from.
Yes, well, I'm an open book. You can ask me anything you want to know. I'm here for you.
Awesome. Well, let's kind of start off by just asking, what is Etsy ads, and do people need to use it part of their business strategy or growth?
Every shop has a potential of amount of money they can make based off the data sample of listings that they have, right? And you can't hit that potential, that max potential of what if could be your store, without investing in marketing, specifically in Etsy ads. And Etsy ads are the lowest hanging fruit to increasing your profit, increasing your sales, getting more customers, right? It's not going on social media. It's not running Facebook ads to Etsy. It's not, Pinterest, yeah, you can get some organic traffic from Pinterest, but it's not going to drastically change your revenue numbers, right? The most I've seen is maybe like a 5 to 10% of traffic that comes from Pinterest, right? Your lowest hanging fruit in terms of mass traffic, or the max potential traffic that you can get, is investing in the platform that the platform wants you to invest in, right? People are thinking, oh, I want money now. Well, I opened my Etsy shop a month ago, and they're like, oh, well, it's costing me money. I'm like, oh my God, God forbid your business costs you money. I'm like, I didn't take $1 out of my second company for 2 years. Again, if money is really uncomfortable for you, right, then maybe it's not something that you look at today. And that's okay. I'm not shaming there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just, you should know what it looks like to compete on the highest level. But yeah.
Yeah, that is great. Okay, somebody's trying to start an Etsy shop. They're new. They want to open it up. Already like, okay, I'm putting together my listing. Maybe the first listing or the 10th listing. What do they need to think about? Or what have you found that's the most important in a listing to pay attention to that gives the best results?
Every listing, right, you're going to optimize for perfect, great imagery, amazing value proposition, upsells in the drop-down menu, downsells in the drop-down menu. You're going to optimize your images, your videos, do the storytelling for every single listing. And when you post them, right, I treat my listings as like a filtration system, right? It's every new listing is your latest, best, worst version of the last one, right? Because you're only getting better every single time, all right? And your goal is that you're going to give it to the algorithm, and then you're going to let the algorithm decide if they like it or not. The only thing that really matters is that there's a consistent inflow of testing happening, right? And we're throwing it in that algorithm, in that filtration system, and we're pulling out the ones that are winning. It's better to just look at the data, see what's working, follow the data, right? Optimize further on what's working and keep filtering in. And it just becomes this engine of putting things in, filtering out, putting things in, filtering out. And that's what makes it so competitive. And then you compound that with putting ad money behind this pool, right? Then you even start, that snowball effect happens faster and faster and faster. That's the best way I can explain it.
I love that answer. I'll tell you why I love that answer. Because because a lot of times, my students or clients, they'll be asking me about like, well, what can I do about this listing to really resurrect it or bring it to life? And they're so attached to a listing because they created 10 listings, and there's like this is a big deal for them. But it's like, and I constantly have to tell them not to attach to a listing. Like, try, what do you think needs to change in this listing? Try it on the next listing. And I like that you're saying it's not about, like, you should have all the details, like, SEO, quality, all that value proposition, but think about, try it again and again and again and see what sticks. So I like that answer. That's a really good answer, because it's talking about how can you move forward and continue to do not get stuck on a very small detail that really might not be your main problem.
I just had a YouTube comment just to add to this. It's like, people, this is more for like someone selling print on demand, where people immediately go to, I need to open a second shop, right? I'm going to change my niche. I need to open up a second shop. And even for, like, I almost always say, don't open a second shop. Like, you don't have, especially if you have listings that, you have listings in your, bucket that are working, don't open a second shop. Just start filtering in the new niche down items. You can change your logo, change the brand, and keep the things that are working, right? But it's the next rendition of the next 500 listings that will create that new brand vibe or that new niche or whatever. Like, you don't need to, start from scratch, right? Just think of it as this like living thing that you can tweak and fine tune over time, right?
Yeah, no, I think what you said there, I think people really need to understand what that means, because like the best tool to find what's the next product you should sell isn't on a third-party app. It's what's working for you right now, because it's like, this is where you're winning. Don't sell something that you want to sell or something that you hope that you can sell. Sell the thing that you're winning in. Double down on those things, because it seems like the algorithm's favoring your store in that regards. Two, that means the competition is more favorable for you to win in those spaces, or maybe there's a demand that you're fulfilling that nobody else is seeing, and you have this internal data that you can really capitalize on that. And so when you're talking about advertisement and really profiting, like, why not spend money on the thing that you're going to win on? Like, why guess? Why not really act on the thing you aren't winning in, and you're going to there's a highly chance to win in.
You're always competing against your own last best metric, right? So like, conversion rate in 2024 was whatever, right? Next year, let's see that's the KPI we're trying to beat from the last year. And that's just, you're constantly trying to improve the health of the living organism that is your business.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, okay, let's talk about how much money could somebody be making, what's acceptable, kind of the profit side of things. So I don't know if you want to maybe share your stats and kind of what you're looking at and what you want to see in your advertisement, maybe some data metrics that you can kind of share with us.
Sure, cool. Love this. Okay, hold on. So this is all, I'm assuming, like, in terms of like trying to help people with ads. Let's just break it down here. I'm going to share my screen here. All right. So this is like a profit tree dashboard. This is our software, right? We designed this software basically to solve my own problems, because, I had 1,600 variation options of products and couldn't track profit. There was no way to do, COGS management, all that stuff. So let's just break it down. So like let's go last year. So this shop in particular has done 300,000. So this is my second company. It's a family business now. I run it with my dad. I'm emotionally invested. And so here we are. But so the most important thing, and the biggest thing that people don't know with their own businesses, because Etsy does a really bad reporting job, is essentially this pie chart, right? I think of everything in percentages, and you have to know your percentages. You have to know what is made up in that sale price to then decide what are the KPIs you're going to follow. You're basically flying blind if you don't know what is made up in that, in that sale price. And, people, you can ask people and they can wing it on the top of their head, oh, well, I cost me this much and I sell it for this much. But holistically, when you have the numbers in front of you, you can't lie to yourself, right? So we're running a 14% marketing cost percentage. So that means that our goal this year, right, was, can we beat 14%? Can we get this to 12%, right? Can we lower this cost to increase this profit, right? Can we actually get our profit to 40%, right? To do that, we would need to lower this by 4%, right? So now our goals, the only thing that matters when it comes to optimizing our ads is this ad cost percentage is something called TACoS, right? Total advertising cost of sale. And we already calculate this for you on your store level. But what we really need to be able to lower this is to get this on the listing level. So right now you can see we don't have an advertisement feature, but we have an advertisement feature actually coming out next month. And we're going to calculate exactly that, because right now in your Etsy account, you get things like ROAS and views and impressions. And like ROAS, if you don't know what ROAS is your return on ad spend, which a lot of people like to look at ROAS as like the make or break it. Like I'm going to turn it off if I don't hit my ROAS. But the problem with looking at ROAS is ROAS isn't giving you the full picture, right? Because your ROAS sometimes can look bad, but then your ad cost percentage looks good. And you don't want to turn off a listing if your ad cost percentage makes sense. So now we just have to optimize it, right? So can we get it to 12%? Can we get it to 10%? And that whole game of competing against your last best metric is now the game that we're playing, basically. So
oh, this is awesome. By the way, I know what it's like to have a family business where like you're starting with your parents. I started with my Russian parents. Let me tell you, they are so stingy. Like there are just a few cultures that are as stingy as my parents. And so they, to them to spend money on ads, they're like, I don't want to pay Etsy. They're just sitting out there in their suits and I'm just here working. I don't want to, give them money.
Yeah.
And I literally had to open up Profitry. And I'm like, look, mom, this is how much money you're actually making. Okay, we're spending 15%. We're spending, okay, we'll push 16 occasionally, we'll push up maybe 20. But hey, this is the money that you would have otherwise not have made if you didn't play the game of advertisement and spending money. But I think you made a good point. Like we're optimizing. When you're running ads, you cannot run ads without optimizing. But what's the most important thing when you're optimizing? And that is data, right? Understanding what numbers are you dealing with. Like if you're just shooting in the dark and just hoping that you sell, that's great. But you're going to have to figure out a game plan on how to optimize. And that's part of building a business. So you mentioned about ROAS, and I actually had a discussion just recently about ROAS. And can you kind of elaborate more about what's the lifespan of a customer when they spend your ad money? When you actually make money on that customer? Because a lot of times, like you would spend, like your ROAS today could be like horrible. But like if you zoom out, even on just a week or a month, it's obviously now it's a different story. But you're saying even further saying, hey, look at your overall sales.
Yeah. What's the difference between ROAS and tacos? So tacos, the difference is your tacos is your total sales attributed to the click of the listing. So it's, you got to click on that listing, whether it was paid or organic, and it's trailing all of the money that came out of that click. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So someone clicked on the listing and they purchased on the listing, right? That just went into the total sales. They clicked on the listing and they clicked on the ad and then they bought something from the listing. That just got into your total sales. Or they clicked on the listing from the ad, but then they bought something else in your store, right? That them purchasing something else in your store wouldn't have happened if they clicked on that ad. So your break-even ROAS is, if you look at the green dot and the blue dot, right? Your ROAS is your spend against the 967 and the 1176. That is how you calculate ROAS, right? The difference is tacos is inclusive of all three. So it's inclusive or organic and the green and the blue, basically, right? Did I lose you?
No, it's great.
Okay, great. So that's the difference. So ROAS is only return on ad spend. So it's only the return from the clicks of the ad. Tacos is analyzing the big picture, including the organic. That is the big difference, right? So basically, if you wanted to calculate tacos, just to emphasize one more time, you would take the green and the blue and you would divide it by your spend, and that would give you your ROAS, right? Tacos is the reverse. It's your spend divided by the green, the blue, and the red. But the reason why I believe and I argue that tacos is more valuable is because there is a not so direct correlation to that dollar spent and your organic sales. So you would want to analyze your spend against all the sales. Really, ultimately, if your tacos make sense, you're not turning off. Even if your ROAS says 0, but your tacos looks good, those extra clicks, those extra add to carts, likes, right? That's contributing to that snowball effect, right? If you get a 5-star review that came from an ad and they left a beautiful picture, testimonial, right? Now all of a sudden your organic traffic is converting because they saw that picture. Like there's just so much there's so much other things that you can't even attribute like concretely, like even like Etsy ads attribution window. So an attribution window is what Etsy says, how long from the time of getting the click, they're going to attribute that sale to that click. So if someone clicks today, but they don't purchase until Christmas, right? That sale, that click is not being attributed because it's only a 30-day window. So there's like all these things that just, there's so many benefits of ads that people just don't even see. So that's the difference between ROAS. But ultimately you should know what is your target tacos, right? If like print on demand, if you're really low tick or really low, you have really low margins and you need your ad cost percentage to be less than 10%, right? Then you just make strict parameters. It's not hitting 10%, you turn it off, basically. Black and white.
Yeah, that's great. I like the fact that you've talked about tacos, because I think Etsy, and I actually like I said, I discussed about this recently. Etsy has made it simple for common folks to really sell something. And so the metrics have been really simplified, and there's some things they're not showing you. And we simplify the way we look at how much we spend and how much we make. And that's why, like I said, that's why I had to pull a profit tree to my parents, because I know you're looking at the ROAS. I know you're saying, okay, this is horrible. I spent $10 and I only made $2. I spend $100 and I only made 30. Like, yes, that sounds horrible, but look at a metric that you're not seeing here. And so we've a lot of people simplify how they look at data when it comes to Etsy. So it's really nice that you guys have this, the tacos. It's like, it really does show a whole nother way of thinking about running ads. And so I guess my next question is, do you find people that use this metric or looking at tacos, are they more aggressive with advertisement, or are they less aggressive, or is there a better ninja-like behavior?
Yes, the people that even know that term tacos are very aggressive, because they're usually coming from like a high level Amazon background or a media buying background, like from Meta, which Etsy sellers are just not, most of them aren't, So hopefully, the idea is that this gives people confidence in the fact that, it's very black and white, right? But another thing that people don't realize about Etsy ads is it's called pay per click. It's a proportional scaling thing. So actually, let me just explain this. If you're spending historically $20 a day on ads, like your ad budget is set to $20 a day, and you locked in a 15% ad cost percentage at $20 a day, you increasing your ad budget to $1,000 a day doesn't mean that this 15% is all going to all of a sudden go to 50%, because it's a proportional scaling thing. You're showing your ads to the same quality data sample of people at $20 a day versus $1,000 a day. It's just a bigger data sample, so it should proportionally increase your top line. So if you're somebody that has even been spending like $10 a day for the last 3 months, that should give you some confidence that if you look at your ad cost percentage and your ad cost percentage makes sense profit-wise, right? If it doesn't, then that's another issue. But if it does, right, that alone should give you confidence to put it to $20 a day and then $25. And then the goal is to never regress, right? Going up and going down with your budget hurts you. It's confusing the algorithm. You just want to go up and trail your numbers, right? Though the numbers make sense. And if the numbers don't make sense, then there's a product problem, right? We have to tweak the dials. You're not turning things off right, or you just need to go back to the drawing board and build products that are profitable with ads on. And my theory is that every goal for every Etsy seller should be focusing on product opportunities that make sense with ads on, because that is how you're, again, you're adding to your filter system, making it stronger and stronger and stronger. So yeah, that was a little bit of a tangent, but hopefully that was helpful.
This is great. I love it. We often obviously want to purchase. We want to, we spend this for every click. We wish every single click brought us money. But what it does also, it changes their dashboard or their search result later down the road when they're ready to buy. Like if for my dog collars, when I'm spending money on this dog collar, it's maybe a holiday collar. I'm getting ready for the holiday, and they click on it. Advertisement spent, no money was made. And sometimes I like to run advertisement earlier in the season that doesn't really profitable yet. But later when they are ready to buy, they type in Christmas dog collar. Guess what? Their dashboard changed because I was willing to spend money. Now my products are ranking on their dashboard, because Etsy's very dynamic now. It's not like a first page or second page. It's really every single person has their own first page. And so stuff like that happens, and you need to calculate for that and account for that. And like you were saying, like this stuff is really hard to really calculate on an each individual listing basis. So that's why I think that that's so powerful to be able to see that. because and then that's just one instance. Like it changes the customer's dashboard. There's other reasons where customers are maybe favoring it, maybe they've added to cart, they forgot about it. You don't know what customers did, but it's just nice to see that number on, as a percentage, and then like you said, you can scale that up no matter the case, it's going to remain that percentage. And so that's really cool. So with that being said, when are you okay spending more? Do you ever make a product break even for any marketing strategy to growth? Like, do you ever do like, it's okay if we break even or maybe even lose money?
Especially in the beginning, break even is obviously not the goal. So like if you're looking at your tacos and your tacos are basically your ad cost percentage, and it's getting to, basically if, ours for the store is at 15%, but say we're looking at a listing and it's going up to, it would have to go up to like almost 40%. Like our ad cost, our tacos is at 40%, which means that we're basically breaking even after you factor in all the other costs, right? If I was a new shop, breaking even, like if I'm honestly within a year old, yes, I would actually leave it on. I would leave it on. Even like we actually almost did that. Like we did do this. Like we with our follow-ups, with my first like fast fashion company, we would give product inserts that basically was like a discount code that was so sexy that we would break even on the second sale. But we didn't care because it wasn't about making money. It was about showing Etsy that we got repeat buyers really fast and getting a second purchase. And if they're going back to get the second purchase, then they're probably going to leave us a review on the first one, right? So it was just, that's really what's winning, is gaining that traction as fast as possible. So in the beginning, I would say yes. Once you have a good data sample of products that are profitable, you then change your standard, because you're like, wait a second, well, breaking even maybe isn't good enough anymore because I have so much more that are doing better. So that money spent is actually better money going to this other listing. So let's turn it off. But in the beginning, I would say within the first year, depending on how fast your uptick is, yeah, I would say breaking even is okay. It's acceptable.
Nice. This is awesome. So now how can people get Profittree? Is there something, maybe special link that we can go on that my viewers can go and check out?
Yes. We have two special links, two special offers that people can check out, both of them down below. See what works for you best. Full disclosure, this advertisement feature is not going to be available. We're saying worst case is the end of November, but you can get in there. We give you a month free. So that's one of the offers. There's two offers, but if you want to be in a trial, at least until that comes out, to see how that works, you can grab that link, save that link, whatever you want to do. But yeah, this has been super awesome. We're really, we launched Profittree trying to solve my own problems. And now it's like, okay, how can we really bring more value to the community? And, the biggest gap that we saw is like, people really need help with ads. They really, really are scared, but it really, truly is your lowest hanging fruit after you get sales. Like, if you're not just a natural content creator, like you might as well feed the platform that's serving you in the first place. So that's kind of what we're set out to do. But thank you so much for having me.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for coming on. This has been really cool because, like I said, I talk to a lot of my sellers that sell my product, and the ones that are like advertising and utilizing that, they're the ones that are growing 10x more than the people that are not. So like, it is not just like, well, it'll help you a little bit. No, it literally is a game changer. So having this platform, having those data points to make the correct decisions, to be more comfortable about making ads decisions, I think is critical. So guys, check out the link in the description below. Thanks again, Hannah, for coming on. Guys, have a great one. Until next time.